Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you are on your TTC journey, it can be a really stressful time, especially if you are receiving positive test results on at-home tests and your line is not progressing as you would expect, or you may be getting mixed results. So for example, you got a positive result and then a negative result and then potentially back to a positive result. I'm gonna go over why you may be getting these conflicting results or why your line may not be progressing. I experienced this with my son. I did chart the progress of my pregnancy test positive lines from day 0 all the way to day 8. And what is interesting about this is I actually tested positive on day 1 with a very, very faint line on some at-home strips that I got on Amazon that I'll link below and above in the video. I had some other plastic tests that I got at a drugstore, and on day 1, I actually got a negative, whereas on the strip, I got a positive. So again, those conflicting results. Then on day 2 with the plastic test, I got a positive. I also got a positive on the strips, but then day 3, I was back to a negative. So it's very common that this occurs, and let me tell you about all the reasons why this could be happening to you. So first off, let's just define a positive pregnancy test. So pregnancy tests go by HCG levels in urine or blood, and to truly have a positive result, you should be above the 25 HCG threshold. This typically occurs as early as 5 days DPO or days past ovulation to 14 days past ovulation. Of course, everyone is different and some women don't know exactly what day they ovulated, so that's an approximate range to go by. The first and kind of worst case scenario that could be happening if your test results are all over the place or your line's not progressing is that you have had a chemical pregnancy. Chemical pregnancies are fairly common. They can occur in up to 1 out of 4 pregnancies, and they usually happen at about 5 weeks or earlier in pregnancy. So a chemical pregnancy is just another word for a very, very early miscarriage, where you may have gotten a positive result and then your HCG levels aren't increasing because the pregnancy hasn't continued, or you've received a positive result and then soon after received a negative result. Another reason why your test results may be flip-flopping back and forth is that you've had a combination of blood tests and urine tests. Blood tests detect a positive at a level of 5 HCG or more, whereas urine, it's typically a higher threshold of 25 HCG or more. Technically, you are in a gray area if you're testing between a level of 5 and 25, but a blood test will give you a positive a lot sooner than a urine. So if you've gotten a blood test and it's been positive and then a urine and it's been negative, just wait a couple days and that urine test will probably turn into a positive. Another reason that you may have received an initial positive and then a negative is that that initial test was in fact a false positive, meaning that the test showed you a positive, but the test was inaccurate. This is a really uncommon occurrence in less than 1%, but it could happen and is of course a possibility. I think one of the most common reasons women do not get a consistent line progression or mixed results is that they are using different at-home tests with different sensitivities. I will slide over a chart of urine tests that you can do at home and show their varying levels of sensitivities. Not all tests are made equal, so if you're flip-flopping back and forth, that could be why you're not getting that consistent result or line progression. The next reason is the quality of the urine sample used. If you're, for example, peeing on the stick one time and then dipping it another time, or using a late afternoon urine versus an early morning urine, you could be mixing up your results and not getting that consistent line progression. So be consistent about what time of day you test and what methodology you use, with of course the same brand test every single time. And lastly, I have another video on this topic. You could always be experiencing the hook effect, especially if you are a little bit later on in your pregnancy. What the hook effect is that you could actually experience a false negative because your HCG levels are so high that it's throwing the test out of whack. Or you could have received a positive earlier on in your pregnancy and then decided to test weeks later and get a negative result or a fainter line, and that can be a cause of concern. But what could be happening is the HCG is actually so concentrated in your urine that you're receiving a less positive result. And if you want more information on that, I will link that video above as well. I hope this video was useful. If you have any questions, as always, comment below. If you like topics like this, be sure to like this one and subscribe to my channel. We'll look forward to seeing you on the next one.